So you know how I'm the kind of girl who's really into physical reading, at least lately. I know that I've been an audiobook girly in the past, but nowadays I'm much more into physical reading. However, when I do listen to an audiobook, I always feel like I need to have something else to do while I'm listening to the audiobook. And lately when I've been listening to audiobooks, you will find that I am playing June's Journey. Thank you to June's Journey for sponsoring today's video. Now imagine you are a girl in the roaring 20s, like you're stylish, glamorous, fabulous. However, your sister and her husband have literally like died mysteriously, and you get a call being like, hey, you should come back and like try to help us solve this murder because your sister has been murdered. That's the basic premise of June's Journey. It gets so much more complicated, but no spoilers. June's Journey is a hidden object game whilst also kind of being like a murder mystery kind of thing with a diverse cast of characters. And you can customize, remodel, and decorate this gorgeous mansion while solving the murder. I've been playing June's Journey for a few weeks now, and when I tell you that when I'm playing this, I have my earphones in, I'm listening to my audiobook, I go into a state of complete relaxation, a state of like zen basically. I get so comfortable, so relaxed. I feel as though I am being drifted off into a different world, quite literally. The gameplay is so much fun, like figuring out, getting all these clues, finding these hidden objects, and decorating an entire mansion. Bro, I love home decor kind of games, and this game, it's the piece de la resistance that I have been waiting for. Click the link down below to download June's Journey on iOS or Android and live your dreams. Take some time for yourself to unwind, to escape from the world, and download through my link June's Journey on iOS or Android. Once again, thank you so much to June's Journey for sponsoring this video. Hi, Tiffany. Welcome back to my rave. I missed you. You probably miss me too, and I get it. How are you? How have you been? And welcome to September. I'm the official September welcome party. We usually give out gift baskets, but we ran out. So sorry. Should have come sooner. Welcome to this video. We're going to be talking about my September TBR and all the books I want to read. We're so close to spooky season. Spooky season is basically here. I can feel it. It's in my bones. I'm honestly going to start decorating, I think, for the spooky season. For today's TBR, most of it is horror. The first book that I want to talk to you about is a book that is very important to me because it's the book club pick for my Patreon. That is The House That Horror Built by Christina Henry. I'm going to be reading this for my Patreon. Love my patrons. If you want to join my Patreon, that's always an option for you. Tiff. We're going to be having a little readathon closer to like the end of September. I don't think I'm going to do Spooky Smart Bitch this year. I'm just like not feeling it, but I am going to do a readathon on my Patreon. I'm still working on it, but that's going to be happening. We do reading sprints all the time. Sometimes there's like exclusive content. There's all kinds of fun stuff on my Patreon. Go ahead and check it out if you want to. If you're interested, of course. If you're not interested, just kidding. If you're not interested, that's fine. But this is the book that we're going to be reading. This is about Harry. Harry is a horror movie freak, okay? She loves a good little scream thing. What? Scream, screen. She loves one of those. She loves movies where it's all like, oh no. So it's not like a complete coincidence that she's like the housekeeper of this dude named Xavier. Why do I always say Xavier? His name is Javier. This dude named Javier, his director. He's like a famous horror movie director, and his name is Javier. So she goes to work at his like mansion that's like in Chicago. She's like, hell yeah. Love this place. It's filled top to bottom with terrifying props and costumes as well as glittering awards. So Harry is like all around this little mansion, just dusting, just wiping things off and just like amazed. Like, oh my God, is that the costume of the Midnight Strangler? Like what? She has to like keep it cool, but she is. She's professional because more than anything, Javier values discretion. He's like, if you want to talk shit, you're gonna get hit. And so Harry is like, my lips are sealed. One day, Harry is dusting and vacuuming and wiping windows, etc. And she starts to hear weird noises come from a room that's usually like locked. What's weird as well is that it sounds like somebody is like calling for help inside this room. Harry is like, okay, this Javier guy really loves discretion. This Javier guy really appreciates like people not being peepers. So Harry has to decide if she's gonna help the person on the other side of this door or if she's just gonna look the other way. I didn't see anything. Me? Nope. Didn't see a single thing. I can't wait to read this because I loved Near the Bone and this sounds so good. It sounds so good. Kind of giving like haunted house, but like maybe also like a escape with your life kind of vibe. It also kind of has like a no exit vibe. Can't wait to see what my patrons think of it as well. Once again, if you're interested, the link to my Patreon is in the description. Check it out if you want to. The rest of these books are kind of random. Tiff. They're like a little bit random. Next book I have is Smothered Moss by Elisa Eilering. I haven't hauled this yet because I got it in an abominable book box. They were very, very kind to send me a book box. When I got it, dude, I was so excited. I will link their service down below. This isn't sponsored. I genuinely just like love their little vibe. It's so much fun. But this came in the book box. I had been eyeing it up and then when I got it, I was like, God bless. It's 1980s in the Appalachia. How do you say it? I feel as though every time I ask somebody like, how do you say that? I always get different answers. Nobody can agree. This is taking place in the 1980s Appalachia. We're following Sheila. Life isn't easy for Sheila. She lives in the middle of, you know, the Appalachia. Sheila takes care of the home. She takes care of her great aunt. Her mom like works like fucking crazy hours at the like local asylum. What really worries Sheila is her sister Angie. Angie's into some freaky deaky shit, okay? Angie's into weirdo shit. She loves nuclear war. She loves Rambo. And she's these like weird tarot cards. So Sheila's like a little bit like, okay, Angie, maybe chill. Just maybe like chill. Maybe think about chilling for a second. Then these female hikers go missing in the mountains, in the Appalachian. Why is it aggressive? Mountains. And so Sheila and Angie are like, we're on the case. They feel like they could solve it. So they start trying to like look into things and they feel as though it's like a serial killer. And so they're like on the hunt to catch this criminal. As the ever-present threat of violence looms larger, the mountains might be the only thing that can save them from the darkness that threatens to consume their home and their community. I can't wait to read this. Let me know in the comments if you have read this. I would love to know your thoughts. It's not a very long book either, so slay. Next up, I want to talk to you about Cuckoo by Gretchen Felker Martin. I never read Manhunt because when Manhunt was released, everyone and their mom kind of like hated it. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be embarrassed, you know? What? So I never read it. But then when this came out, and then also when I was like, I don't know if I want to read her new book because like nobody liked Manhunt. And then everyone was like, I loved Manhunt. And I was like, who was I subscribed to? What newsletters were I reading? What? It's not grammatically. That's not, I feel as though grammar today for me personally doesn't exist. And I never learned it. I never got the newsletters that everyone else did. When I saw this in the bookstore, I was like, you know what? Take a chance on the smart fat girl. This takes place at like a gay conversion camp. We know this Gretchen is, I think, gay. Listen. Let me just say something controversial but brave. Gretchen is like the gayest name you could ever have. I feel like my name should be Gretchen because that's how gay I feel. Do you know what I mean? Like if I ever met a straight Gretchen, you're lying. I feel like this has to be good. And I really feel, and I do mean this with my whole pussy, the gayer you are, the better your horror is. I get it, like straight people can like write or whatever, but like I feel like gay people in particular with horror, there's just a little extra like oomph. There's just a little bit extra of like a, you know what I mean? Like a poof. It has like a little extra fairy dust just sprinkled in. I don't know, is that controversial to say? I don't want to say that like the straight people are like not popping their pussy, because like sure, some of them are. Josh Mallerman, for instance, kind of like popped his pussy recently, but like I just feel like more consistently gay people in horror are really the ones who are like putting their whole pussies into it. And I feel like no one ever talks about that, or maybe they do and I just don't listen. This is giving me It by Stephen King, but like gay. So this is about these 7 queer kids who are in 1995, by the way, sent to like this conversion camp. The parents are like, you're gay, but we can't have that. Your aunt, your grandma would have a conniption. So you gotta go pray it away at this camp. When you come back, you'll be straight and God will love you again. Like that's the vibe. So they go, and while they're there, they see the most horrifying shit. And I quote, it. So then they leave and everybody's like a different person. Nobody's the same. 16 years later, they must combine again to defeat this thing, this conversion camp monster. See what I mean when I say that it's like It, but it's gay? I'm so excited. I can't wait to read this. You know what also like annoys me? I just looked at my copy specifically. Do you see that right there? That's so annoying. Love you, Gretchen. Love how gay you are. Speaking of gay women, we have All the Hearts You Can Eat by Hailey Piper. Recently, in my bookshelf organization video, which I will link here and down below or whatever, I talked about how like it was my life's goal and my life's mission to be a gay vampire. And then like so many of you were like, girly pop, my queen, you were already serving that. I honestly cried just like a little bit. All the Hearts You Can Eat. I don't think this is out yet, but I do believe it's coming out soon. I don't remember what day it's coming out because I believe that this is the finished copy. Haley was really kind and sent it to me. In my heart, I feel my favorite author is Hailey Piper. Not even just because she writes like these like slamming, badass, gay as fuck books, but also like just the fact that she's Hailey Piper. I kind of want to be Hailey Piper when I grow up. Anyway, in this, we are following this girl named Ivory. Ivory's life changes one day when she discovers the body of a young girl named Cabrina on like the shores of her town, which is called Cape Morning. Along with Cabrina's body, she also finds this poem. And she's like, what the hell? Like, how did this girl die? Like, why is she here? Like, it's all of these mysteries or whatever. Ivory starts like doing research, trying to figure out exactly what happened to Cabrina, and then also starts seeing Cabrina. She'll see like this like pale imitation, this like pale apparition of Cabrina and be like, that's a fucking ghost. Why is there a fucking ghost following me? Then Ivory talks to Cabrina's friends and they're like, yeah, we see her too. They begin to unravel the truth behind Cabrina's death because Cape Morning isn't a ghost town, but a town filled with ghosts. And Ivory is about to discover just what happens when you let one in. My theory, personally, I think Cabrina's a vampire. And I think she's undead. And I think she's like, I have friends and I'm gonna eat those friends. I'm so excited to read this. I can't wait. One day I was with my friend. I think we were going to go see a movie and there was a bookstore close to the theater. And I was like, we have to like stop at the bookstore. Just like quick. I just want to like look. We go into the bookstore, we look, and what do I find? A Mask of Flies by Matthew Lyons. I have been so excited. I feel like after I read this, lay me down to sleep, okay? I'm ready for death. I've been so excited for this. So excited. We're following this girl whose name is Anne. So Anne and her friend Jessup are in the car. They're going down to Anne's mother's old cabin, but Anne's mother has died. It's like Anne and Jessup, and then also this good guy named Dutch, who's like a police officer that they've kidnapped because Anne and Jessup have just like robbed a bank. They've taken Dutch as like a hostage. They get to the cabin. Anne is like, oh my God, I'm gonna start doing all of this like research and try to figure out like my mother's death or whatever. Jessup dies. Her friend Jessup was badly injured in the car, but he does succumb to those injuries when they're at the cabin. So now it's just Anne and this guy named Dutch, and they bury Jessup like outside the cabin or whatever because he's dead. Like the next night or something, there's a knock at the door, and who is it but Jessup? Jessup is back, but an imitation of Jessup, because even though it looks like Jessup, it's not Jessup, and Anne knows that. Not a dream, not a hallucination, and not exactly Jessup either. Something else, something wearing her friend's face, something hungry. I can't wait to read this. I've only ever read one book from Mr. Matthew Lyons. Wasn't my favorite, sorry Maddie Matt, but I can't wait to read this. I just know, I can feel it in my bones that this is gonna pop its pussy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, Cynthia knows. Cynthia, you agree, right? Yeah, she knows too. I also want to talk about this author. They recently sent me their newest book. I do own one of his other books. I'm like, I want to read these books this month. I Died Too, but They Haven't Buried Me Yet by Jeffrey Ross. Ross Jeffrey. Oh my God, I'm so rude. We have Metamorphosis by Ross Jeffrey. I bought this book. I was like, the title, the cover, like the vibe of it, I had to have it. And then Ross reached out to me and was like, do you want to read the other one? And I was like, hell yeah, Mr. Jeffrey. This one I'm pretty sure is like a grief kind of horror. We're following this guy named Henry. Henry's daughter, who is 14, has gone missing. She's been missing for a while, but Henry feels as though he's been like burying pieces of her for months. He feels as though he is like constantly having to deal with this grief, this like unanswered question. And so he goes to these like monthly or weekly meetings for grief. And like one day this dude approaches him and he's like, hey, so sorry for like your potential loss because I know that your daughter's missing or whatever, but like have you ever thought about like wanting to reach out to her like on the other side? What follows is a tale of deception and possession like no other. The moment I got this book, the moment I read the back of it, the moment I read the title, oh, it hurts my heart, but like in the best way. This one, I genuinely have no idea what it's about. I do feel like it's probably gonna be good as well. I'm very excited to read these books. Can't wait. Let me know if you want to see like a reading vlog or something. I was recently emailed a PDF copy of Nat Cassidy's new book or like novella called Rest Stop. And so I was thinking like, should I do a reading vlog? What should I do? Like, let me know in the comments if you want to see a reading vlog for Nat Cassidy's new book, Rest Stop. I don't know why I'm like whispering or like pseudo, like soft speaking, but I feel like it's probably going to be like a claustrophobic kind of like fight for your life kind of book, which I'm excited to see from Mr. Nat Cassidy. So yeah, let me know if you want to see content with that book, and because I think it'd be fun, and I'm really excited to read it. Let's quickly take a little detour. I read this book because one of my patrons, Lonnie, was like, you need to read it. They went as far as like buying me the physical copy. So I was like, okay, well, you bought this for me, I might as well give it a try. So I literally ended up reading it in like 2 sittings, loved it, and that was Captive by Jex Lane. And I know, I know what you're thinking, okay, Tiffany? I know. You're like, wow, that is... That is a crazy cover. It's crazy. I'm not even gonna lie to you, Tiffany. This book is insane. After I finished reading this, which by the way, I did vlog it. I never finished the vlog. I ended up DNFing the last book, but I just literally need to film like a last clip saying that I DNF'd it. Anyway, then I told Lonnie, like, I finished the book, 5 out of 5. It was amazing. It was so good. And she was like, good, I'm gonna buy you the other 2 books. And first of all, I was like, Lonnie, oh my God, I feel like a sugar baby. I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking nice. Like, thank you so much. So she sent me the other 2 books along with like a whole bunch of other shit too. Like she even got gifts for my cats. So fucking sweet. Thank you so much, Lonnie. But she ended up buying me the other 2 books, Sire and Broken. Okay, and these covers are crazy. I know what you're thinking, but I feel like they also came out like early 2000s. Also, the series is not complete, which Lonnie told me after I finished reading them. I wasn't even mad. I love a sneaky bitch. I do want to finish these books. And if you're like, okay, what are those about? Tell me what those are about. Let me tell you. First book, we are following this guy named Matthew. Matthew is a vampire. Book starts with us being with Matthew as he's like hunting, because he can like feel something, he can like hear something, this like reverberation, this thumping, and so he's like prowling the streets looking for this thing that's like calling to him basically so that he can eat it, you know what I mean, or fuck it or whatever. Matthew finds it and it turns out to be this incubus who like basically like takes him captive. This incubus is like, okay, you're now my slave, you can call me master. But Matthew was like, absolutely not. I'm not that kind of bitch. I'm not going to call you master. I'm not going to do any of that. It's like a dark romance, like a fantasy, like a horror. Like, listen, I know what you're thinking. You're like, that sounds weird. Sure. But it's so good. It kind of gives me a vibe of like fan fiction, kind of good, where it's like, this is ridiculous, but I love it. Like at one point there's like this fox spirit. I ship Matthew and this fox spirit so much. It's crazy. I want to read the other 2 books in the series. And I really hope that the author, Jex Lane, gets it together and continues writing these, because I think I'm going to need more. I can't even imagine the pain I'm going to feel when I finish the third book and have like nothing else to go on. But you know what? It's fine. Oh, I think there's also like a novella that goes with it too. Either way, let me know in the comments if you've read these and what you thought of them. I would love to know. Real quick, I also want to read The Midnight Feast. Just because I have actually started this book, and so I am interested in finishing it. This is basically like every other Lucy Foley book, which is like, oh no, we are in secluded place. However, somebody has died. There has been a murder and somebody who is among us has killed them. It's like very formulaic. And I love that. I love it. Lucy Foley and me, we're cool. But that's what this is about basically. And I'm very excited to finish it. I have 3 books left. The next one I want to talk about is Carnosaur. This is by Harry Adam Knight. This apparently like predated Jurassic Park. And like, listen, I've talked about this a few times and I still want to read it so badly. Like, it's crazy that I ever forgot about this book. Look at that dinosaur, Tiffany. It's dinosaurs. This is about the sleepy little town called Worcester. This like farmer dude is like killed, and everybody, even like the police and everything, is like, oh my god, it's probably like a wild animal, because he's all fucked up. He's really fucked up. But then there's other people who are like, no, it doesn't look like an animal attack, none that I've ever seen. And then there's also this lady who's like, it wasn't like some random animal, it was a dinosaur. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. And everyone's like, okay, Linda, you're drinking fucking Irish coffee again. You're crazy. There's this guy who's like a journalist. I think his name is Penward, which is a bit on the nose. Or is that the millionaire? Sorry, Pascal. Pascal is the journalist. And then Penward is this rich guy who everybody knows. He's like the town's rich cat. You know what I mean? Like fat cat guy. And Pascal, the journalist, is like, hey, kind of seems like you like created something like a dinosaur and then like let it loose. Penward, this millionaire, is like, me? What? No, I would never. Can Pascal uncover the truth before Penward's creatures escape to wreak murder and havoc on the unsuspecting populace? I'm so excited to read this. One of the last 2 books that I have is Dragonfall by L.R. Lom. This is a gay fantasy. I'm obsessed with gay fantasy right now. Like, I recently read A Taste of Gold and Iron, and that shit like literally changed my life. And so I cannot wait to read this. This is about this guy and this like dragon who's like in like a human form, who have to like team up to get what they want, but the dragon has to like kill the human, and it's like, it's a whole thing. I haven't read it yet, but I'm really excited. I did buy it, if I'm being honest with you, Tiffany, partially because of the cover. I can't wait. I'm really excited to read this. The last book I want to talk to you about is one called Fever House by Keith Rawson. I am currently listening to this on audio, and it just got to a part in the book where I personally, quelle surprise. Things are happening that I did not expect to happen. And the title Fever House now has a different connotation. I've been really wanting to read this for months, but I saw a TikTok from the author of John Dies at the End, where he was like recommending this, like really, and I was like, I own that book, I should get it, because also the sequel's coming out soon, and the sequel looks fucking cool as fuck. Like, look at this cover, it's crazy. So I finally sat my bussy down and I got to reading, and this shit is so good. It's so crazy. It has like a Stephen King vibe, but like if Stephen King didn't like objectify women. Do you know what I mean? Like, it has that kind of vibe. No mention of nipples. This is about this guy named Hutch, and amongst other people, but like mostly Hutch. Hutch is like this enforcer for this guy named Peaches. So Peaches is this dude who's like kind of like a gang leader, or like he's just like a shady dude, and his name is Peaches, which I kind of think is cute. Like, I want to be like a scary man, but like have like the cutest name, like Sparkly Pinkie Pie, but like I'm like a mobster. This Peaches is like the kind of guy that doesn't fuck around, because he has guys like Hutch and this guy named Tim go out and get his money for him. Hutch and Tim are at this like crackhead's house. They go to the crackhead and they're like, we want the fucking money, blah 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 blah, and they find in this crackhead's house this severed hand in like a Wonder Bread bag. They're like, okay, that's really fucking weird. So they decide to take the severed hand along with like the crackhead. From then on, other people want the hand as well. Other people don't want the hand. People want to destroy the hand. People want to use it for nefarious reasons. Some people like want to protect it and like make sure that it can't harm anyone, because also the hand has this effect on people where it makes them violent. So yeah, that's Beaver House. That's my TBR. What do you think? Honestly, pretty good TBR. I'm really happy with it. I'm really hoping that I can stick to most of it. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books, what you think, what you thought, if you think I should, you know, take anything off, if you're like, oh, that book was so sucky, don't read it, don't read it. Let me know. Don't forget to hit subscribe because we talk about spooky shit, talk about creepy shit, talk about the house that built horror and shit. Okay, my friends, my family, my familia. I will see you in my next one. I hope you guys have a good day. Bye. Take care. Goodbye. You look stunning, by the way. Oh, I hate it. But I also love it because it means I can look into your eyes. Okay, bye.